Jurassic Park was lightning in a bottle, largely due to the fact that it was the first time monsters could be animated with CG. The sequels have been chasing more profit and higher resolution monsters. Yeah, and the thing that I was going to bring up was one of the reasons I think the first Jurassic Park, aside from the excellent direction and the characters and everything, I do think the characters in the first movie and the story is better than everything else. But also, when I saw that movie in the theater, it was like a spectacle because this was the very first time we saw dinosaurs on the big screen in CG. And originally he was going to do it all practical, or I think rotoscope or something like that. But the ILM said, hey, we're trying out this thing and we think we're ready enough. We think it's going to work. And sure enough, they did. And they were able to marry practical and CG in a way that you almost couldn't tell the difference back then. And, using the lighting and the shadows, especially with the T-Rex coming out.
Oh, so, buddy, they do the same
thing.
Yeah, with lighting and shadow in this movie is Gareth Edwards' best friend. I'll say that. And I will also say one thing I really loved. They bring back the font from the first Jurassic Park.
Oh,
so when there's stuff like on the screen, like where it says so and so years later or whatever, or the location they're at, it's the font from the original movie, and I'm like, that's cool. So
it's a good transition into JAWS, which I think was one of the first of its kind. Sure, there's been monster movies before JAWS, but I think JAWS really, more than any other movie, brought the realism. Like this felt like this could really happen. A shark this big. And I watched the new Jaws at 50 documentary. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. And there's been so many Jaws documentaries, and I was kind of like skeptical, like, should I even watch this? Because I've seen everything. I know everything about Jaws. I know everything about Halloween. But sure enough, they surprised me. And plus it had the newness, the shiny plastic on it and everything. But there were a few surprises along the way. Like one of them, Steven Spielberg talks about, they actually presented 3 different sizes for the shark. They said, we can give you, I think they said an 18-foot shark, a 25, and a 35. And I think a novice director might say, give me the 35. Let's go as big as possible. But Steven Spielberg was like, I don't want this to be like a sci-fi creature feature. I wanted this to feel real. So let's give me the 25, because I think when you see that shark coming out of the water, you're going to go, whoa, that's big, but I buy that it's real. And so that was just one little nugget, but man, that documentary is so good. And a documentary is good when you just watch it over and over, which I think that's probably the definitive JAWS documentary that I'm going to watch from here on out. But I notice, I'm going to call him out, Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards. He made this video, and I respect everybody's opinion on any movie, but certain hot takes are going to get, and we all have our own hot take. We all have gotten in trouble. We've had tomatoes thrown at us before. So it's fair game. Yeah, especially me and Nick. It's fair game. But man, this might have been a hotter take. Okay, this might have been a hotter take because Barry literally said he thinks JAWS is overrated. And I said, I posed this in our little chat, our little Hit the Bricks Boys chat. Don't answer me now, but be honest, do either of you actually think that JAWS is maybe a little bit overrated? Because it can be underrated.
Wait, are you actually asking right now? Because
yes,
absolutely not. No, I don't even think that there is a universe that you can make the argument that JAWS is overrated. JAWS. I did a video on The Exorcist the other day, and I said this at the end of the video where I was like, there are certain movies that they're beyond S tier or whatever the kids want to call it these days. They're monumental. They're landmark films for a reason. The Exorcist is one. JAWS is one. Guys, I love Halloween. I wouldn't even put Halloween there. I wouldn't. Like I would say if you're going to do a Mount Rushmore of some of the most influential films of all time, there can only be 4. JAWS is one of them. JAWS is absolutely one of them.
Oh yeah.
If for nothing else, that we talked about this weeks ago on an episode when we briefly were talking about JAWS and its impact. And it was just like, guys, people 50 years later, like their fear of open water came from that movie. Like,
Yeah.
people are scared of big swimming pools because of that movie. People are scared of rivers, even though great white sharks can't be in a river because of that movie. Like,
Yep.
no, absolutely not. I won't even hear the argument. I saw the video
Yeah.
and I
don't even
said,
need to click on the video.
no thanks. I'm not clicking it because, it's just no. I don't agree.
Well, I think the ultimate test of any of these elite, forever, whatever you want to call them, your Exorcist, your Halloween, your Jaws, at the end of the day, do you watch it? Are you tempted to watch it? Every year, are you foaming at the mouth to watch that movie? Because if you are, then there's your answer right there. It's not overrated. And I can tell you right now, Jaws is the movie every July. I'm like, if that's in the theater, I'm going to go see it. And I've seen the movie a million times.
When it comes to vacation season and 90-degree weather, what is one of the first movies you think of? Like, I need to watch this. It's Jaws.
And it's never even a chore to get through. Like, when I throw on Jaws, it's like a symphony. Like, the movie starts and I'm locked in. If Jaws just happens to be on the TV when I'm flipping through, I got to stop. I can't help it. Those characters are just so good. Hooper and Brody, they're all just amazing characters. Quint. And I fully respect Barry's opinion. And I'm sure there's more people like Barry out there that maybe Jaws is just not for them. Maybe they don't like shark movies. I don't know. There's always outliers, right? So I fully respect that opinion, and I would never call somebody stupid for having that opinion. We all have our, again, hot takes.
And
that is the hottest of hot takes.
I will just say, though, Lee, I have always felt like there's a difference between saying that a movie is not as good as people make it out to be, or that a movie is not for me. There is a difference there. And that is a fine line to walk. I can look at a movie. I say Dr. Sleep is better than The Shining, and I get a lot of shit for that. But that takes nothing away from The Shining. I'll never say The Shining is overrated. I'll never say The Shining isn't as good as people say it is. I just happen to prefer its sequel. But yeah, there are certain movies where I'm just like, really? Like, I don't even want to touch that. Like, when people say the Exorcist is boring, or I don't find The Exorcist very good, I'm like, we're done talking. We're no longer having a conversation.
3 is better than Exorcist. Here we go.
Yeah. I mean, not only did Barry say that it was overrated, he said he doesn't think it's a masterpiece, which I think is like maybe even a hotter take to say that Jaws isn't a masterpiece. I mean, I think I can think of a few films that I think are technically more impressive, something like Citizen Kane or 2001: A Space Odyssey, stuff like that. But when it comes to Jaws, it is my favorite film of all time. I don't think anything's ever going to replace that as my number one movie of all time. I saw it when I was about 5 years old. It got me into movies. It got me into sharks. Like, it set me on this path to where I would later on stumble, upon Child's Play and Halloween and all that kind of stuff, kind of set me up for that. But not only that, one of the great points that the documentary makes, that Spielberg says at the very end of the documentary, is that after Jaws, he had final cut on every movie moving forward after that. And if that doesn't say that the movie, accomplishes something that goes beyond even our individual opinions of the film, then I don't know what does. I mean, it was such a massive achievement. I don't know if anyone could have pulled that movie off and have it be as sincere and have it be something that just breaks genre walls down. I mean, Jaws is thrilling. Jaws is dramatic. Jaws is comedic. Jaws is horrific. It's got pretty much every subgenre mixed in so well. There are so many quotable, memorable lines. Even within one or two lines of dialogue, there's like parts of those. Like when Quint introduces himself, the very first line he says, "Y'all know me, know how I make a living." Oh, God, and then the very last thing he says, the head, the tail, the whole damn thing. Like, all this stuff that he says is just so memorable. And that's just one character. And I do still think the shark looks great. The music is amazing by John Williams. The way that Spielberg fits so much into frame and focused at different depths of field. When Brody is on the little, the little shuttle across the causeway or whatever with Mayor Vaughn and all the other politicians and everything. There's like 7 guys in that shot at all different points. Everything looks great. There's just something so beautiful about even the most like run-of-the-mill shots in that film. So while I totally, I respect Barry's opinion. I don't agree with it all the time, and I love Barry. He's one of my biggest inspirations to do what I'm doing. But I thought he was as nice as you can be while still being wrong.
Well, hello there. You just watched an outrageous clip from the Hit the Bricks podcast. I really hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to see more clips, you can click here or you can click here. And you can just have yourself a ball, all right? And also follow the Hit the Bricks podcast on Spotify as well. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.